Hi Toby, great work getting through to the end of Unit 4 already. You're really motoring along in the course. I guess you're probably hoping to get it done before school starts in September, are you? I've got your test here in front of me, and with having finished Unit 4, you're halfway through the course. That means I'm going to be making up a midterm report card for you tonight. I'll send that on to the principal, Mr. Lenson. And once he's signed it and had a look, he'll send it to you. It could take a couple weeks before you get it from him. And so in the meantime, what I'll do is I'll email you with the mark that I put on the midterm report to let you know how you're doing. You can also see how you're doing if you use the dashboard in the course and you go up to assessments and select grades from the drop down. Then you can see all of your grades there, and I think it will give you your final calculated grade as you're going along as well. If not, let me know. I might have to adjust that. That's just something new that I've been playing around with. So I've got your test here, Part A. I've gone through and I've marked it all, and that was perfect. Part B, a couple of problems. With number 2, be careful there because the middle term is negative in your trinomial, and the final term is positive, which means you need 2 negative factors, not 2 positive factors. So I've written your correction up here. With number 3, you only want to get 2 binomial brackets there. You can't have that plus 21 sticking out on the end. The factors that multiply to 48 and add up to 13 are 16 and 3. That's not one that's easy for most people to come up with, but you can use a calculator. And so x minus 16 and x plus 3 on that one. Question 4, 5, and 6 were just fine. So out of 12 marks there, each question's worth 2. It looks like you would get 8 out of 12 on that one. Okay. Part C, I've got the questions marked here, and this is not wrong over here. I just thought I would do a little note for you just to show you that a quicker way, more concise way of writing the binomial when it's the same when you're multiplying 2 binomials is just to write it as a squared binomial, like a binomial times itself. Alright, so let's move down here, and we've got a couple more Part C questions to look at. Oh dear. Here we go. There they are. So question 5 and question 6, I'd like to see you in question 5. The trinomial may well be unfactorable, but you definitely have common factor of 4, I'm going to say, maybe 2, yeah, 2 in each of those terms. You've got 3 even numbers there, and so each of those terms should be factored by a factor of 2. And that leaves you with 36y squared. What are we going to get? 82y plus 49. And then you're right that that will not factor further. It's really close, but it won't get you a perfect square trinomial, which is what it seems to be looking like. And for number 6, you're right that that one won't factor. I think you emailed me about that one. So you're going to lose 1 mark here, unfortunately, for number 5. So that's an 11 out of 12 on Part C. And Part D, they wanted you to factor that completely. Now, be careful. When you're doing Part D, they gave you, for number 1, you were given the 3x plus 4 squared minus the 2x plus 1 squared. So if you factor that completely, it's going to look like this. You've got a difference of squares. 3x plus 4 plus 2x plus 1 times 3x plus 4 minus 2x plus 1. And then you're going to simplify all of that, and so here you're going to get 5x plus 5, and the other one's going to give you x plus 3, common factor 5, and you have x plus 1, x plus 3 as your factors. So you ran into a bit of trouble there. For question D number 2, The first one will not factor. So this one here, number 2, that will not factor. We'll put an NF for not factorable. But for question 3, it will factor, because if we look at question 3 a little differently, if we call y to this, well, let's do it this way. Let's say a equals y cubed, then a squared would be y to the 6th. So that would change our trinomial into 2a squared plus 13a minus 24. And that will factor 48 again. So we're going to have 2a and a, 8 in this bracket and a 3 in this bracket to give us positive here minus here. And so our factors will look like that, and then when we substitute for the a, because it was holding the place, remember, of y cubed, we just put that back in now, and there's our 2 binomial factors, okay? So I would recommend just a little bit more practice on part D. Unfortunately, out of the 6 marks there, we don't have any marks on that one. And so not a bad test overall, but definitely part D, where you're getting into the sort of stranger ones that don't look like, you know, the average run-of-the-mill homework question. You need to just do a little bit more practice and fine-tune your skills on that. Okay?